Ladies and gentlemen, let's get one thing straight. Wealth is not first created in the wallet. It's created in the mind. The difference between rich and poor isn't just about money. It's about mindset. It's about how you think, how you speak, and most importantly, how you believe. You see, the rich mindset says, "How can I?" The poor mindset says, "I can't." The rich mindset says, "What's the opportunity here?" The poor mindset says, "That's not for people like me." And today, I'm here to help you identify the gap and close it. The poor mindset is always consumed with the present moment. It's about surviving the day, getting through the week, making it to the end of the month without going broke. People with this mindset live in a cycle of short-term thinking. Their decisions are reactive, based on immediate gratification or urgent needs. When they get paid, the money is gone almost instantly, directed toward bills, temporary comforts, or distractions that make them feel like things are okay for a moment. They'll say things like, "I just need to make it to Friday," or "I'll figure it out next month." There's no vision beyond the next step, no plan for growth, no anticipation for something greater. Their horizon is limited to what's right in front of them. Now contrast that with someone who has a rich mindset. This person is not just thinking about today. They're thinking 10, 20, even 50 years down the road. They make decisions today with tomorrow in mind. They don't just ask, "What do I get out of this now?" They ask, "What will this build for my future?" They understand that what they plant now is what they'll harvest later. This mindset builds patience, discipline, and vision. While the poor mindset asks, "How do I get paid?" the rich mindset asks, "How do I get free?" And that freedom isn't just financial. It's freedom of time, freedom of movement, freedom of thought. The rich-minded person understands that real wealth isn't just about stacking dollars. It's about building something that keeps producing long after they've stopped working for it. Short-term thinking is like renting your time forever. You keep trading hours for dollars, but there's never enough hours to get ahead. It's a trap, a treadmill. You run faster, but you never move forward. You take extra shifts, pick up side gigs, maybe even sacrifice rest or time with family just to keep up. And yet, your life doesn't expand. Your options don't grow. That's because your thinking is stuck in survival mode. You're not asking, "How can I build an asset?" You're asking, "How do I make ends meet?" And as long as that's your dominant question, your circumstances will keep reflecting it. On the other hand, a person with a rich mindset views time differently. They treat it as a seed, not a currency. They invest time into skills that will increase their value. They create systems and structures, businesses, investments, teams, that will eventually generate income without requiring their constant presence. They understand that true wealth is not measured by what you earn while working, but by what you earn while not working. So when they're studying, networking, or building something new, it might not look like income at first, but it's compound interest in action. It's exponential returns waiting to happen. Here's the powerful truth: both people, rich and poor in mindset, have the same 24 hours. The difference is what they do with those hours. The poor mindset uses time to cope. The rich mindset uses time to create. The poor mindset wastes time on low-return activities, scrolling, complaining, gossiping, binge-watching, because it's trying to escape reality. But the rich mindset faces reality head-on and chooses to shape it. And when setbacks come, and they will, the rich thinker doesn't panic. They adjust the plan, they learn, and they keep moving forward, because their vision wasn't based on a week of results. It was built on a lifetime of intention. When you think short-term, you'll chase comfort, but when you think long-term, you'll chase purpose. Comfort is fleeting, purpose is fulfilling, and those who pursue purpose consistently will eventually have the comfort too, but on their own terms, built from a foundation they created. This is why you can take two people with the same job, the same income, and the same opportunities, and one of them will retire with wealth while the other stays stuck. It's not the job that made the difference. It's not the salary. It's not the economy. It's the mindset behind every decision they made along the way, every yes and no, every risk taken or avoided, every sacrifice made or avoided, every hour used or wasted. That is what separates those who build lasting wealth from those who spend their whole life chasing it and never quite catching it. When someone with a poor mindset receives money, their immediate instinct is to spend it. It doesn't matter whether it's a salary, a bonus, or a sudden windfall. The thought process is almost always the same. What can I buy right now? The money is seen as a reward, something to be consumed. It's treated like a temporary escape from pressure, not a tool for long-term gain. So they go for instant gratification, new gadgets, flashy clothes, entertainment, or worse. They upgrade their lifestyle before they've even built a foundation. Every purchase becomes a symbol of status, not strategy. The money disappears as fast as it came, and the cycle begins again. Month after month, year after year, there's no forward momentum, only motion in place. It's not because they don't have the ability to save or grow. It's because they've never been trained to think about money as seed. They see it as fruit. And if all you ever do is eat the fruit, eventually you'll have no tree left. Now shift that to the rich mindset. The moment money enters the hands of someone with this mindset, the first question they ask is, how can this multiply? How can this single dollar bring back more dollars? There's discipline, there's strategy. The rich-minded person doesn't see money as something to spend. They see it as something to put to work, while others are out spending their entire paycheck on liabilities, things that lose value the moment you buy them. The rich are looking for assets. Assets don't just hold value, they generate more value. Assets work while you sleep. Assets pay you again and again, long after the initial effort or investment is made. And rich thinkers understand this at a deep level, which is why their money doesn't just sit idle, and it certainly doesn't vanish as fast as it arrives. It's placed, it's positioned, it's planted. The poor mindset treats money emotionally. If they feel stressed, they spend to feel better. If they feel pressure, they spend to escape. If they feel envy, they spend to compete. But emotions don't build wealth. Strategy does, vision does, patience does. The rich mindset detaches emotions from money. They understand that every dollar is a decision. Every expenditure is a vote for your future or against it. They don't just budget money, they direct it. Like a general sending troops into battle, they assign every dollar a mission. Some dollars are sent to learn, books, courses, mentorship. Some are sent to build real estate, stocks, businesses. Some are sent to protect, insurance, legal structures, reserves. Every dollar is doing something that brings a return. That's the core difference. Even more critical is how each mindset views opportunity. The poor mindset will say, I can't afford that. The rich mindset will ask, how can I afford that? That one shift, turning a statement of limitation into a question of possibility, is what separates financial stagnation from financial acceleration. Poor-minded people close the door before even looking at what's behind it. Rich-minded people open the door, inspect the opportunity, run the numbers, and ask whether the ROI justifies the move. They understand that money flows where there's vision and stagnates where there's fear. The moment a poor-minded person sees money, they think about how to use it up. The moment a rich-minded person sees money, They think about how to use it well. This difference compounds over time. Because while one person is using money to create temporary satisfaction, the other is using money to create permanent options. And over time, those options become freedom. Freedom to say no to what doesn't align with their values, freedom to live life on their own terms, freedom to bless others, freedom to create impact, freedom to choose. It's not magic, it's not luck, it's mindset, it's habits, it's priorities, and those priorities are reflected in every financial choice, big or small. That's why two people can earn the same salary, and one of them retires broke while the other retires wealthy. It wasn't the income, it was the interpretation. One saw money as something to enjoy, the other saw it as something to grow. One asked, "What can this buy me today?" And the other asked, "What can this become tomorrow?" People with a poor mindset often define their identity by what they do, not who they are becoming. They see themselves as fixed, locked into a role, a job title, a degree, or a background. If you ask them what they're capable of, they'll refer to their current position or past experience. They'll say things like, "I'm just a factory worker," or "I never went to college," or "I wasn't born into money," as if their past determines their potential. This mindset builds invisible walls around their future, and the tragedy is that most of them don't even realize they're doing it. They operate from a sense of limitation, believing growth is only possible if someone gives them permission, if the circumstances are perfect, or if they are lucky. So they wait for the promotion, wait for a better boss, wait for someone to notice their value. But the wait becomes a habit, and the habit becomes a lifestyle, and years go by while nothing changes except their level of frustration. The rich mind set doesn't wait, it creates. It doesn't ask for permission, it takes responsibility. Someone with this mindset knows they are not defined by a job title, a diploma, or a neighborhood. They're defined by their decisions, and they understand that who they are becoming is always more powerful than what they've done. They don't say, "I'm stuck here." They ask, "What skills can I develop to create options?" They're constantly learning, constantly stretching, constantly reaching for new understanding because they believe they are their greatest asset. They invest in themselves not just because it feels good, but because they know that every bit of personal growth multiplies everything they touch. When a person grows, their business grows. When a person sharpens their thinking, their results sharpen. So they wake up with purpose, they read, they ask questions, they seek out people who are ahead of them, not out of insecurity, but out of hunger. Growth becomes a habit, not an event where the poor mindset waits for opportunities. The rich mindset prepares for them. When a door opens, the rich-minded person is ready to walk through it. The poor-minded person, even if they see the same door, is often unprepared to enter because they didn't think it was possible. They let fear write their story. They let past failure dictate future decisions. They confuse temporary setbacks with permanent identities. One missed opportunity, and they say, "I guess I'm not cut out for that." One rejection, and they say, "Maybe I should just play it safe." But playing it safe is often the most dangerous move you can make, because safety in the moment often costs you your destiny. The rich mindset understands that failure is not fatal, rejection is not personal, and comfort is not the goal. They see obstacles as part of the process and not as signs to quit. Every challenge becomes a classroom, every delay becomes development, every loss becomes leverage when the mindset is focused on growth rather than defense. The poor mindset often surrounds itself with comfort zones, friends who reinforce limitation, conversations that recycle complaints, routines that protect familiarity. The rich mindset surrounds itself with challenge, mentors who demand better, books that stretch perspective, environments that reward excellence. While one group talks about problems, the other group talks about possibilities. While one blames the economy, the other builds in spite of it. The environment matters, and the rich-minded person takes control of it. They curate what they hear, what they watch, who they spend time with, because they understand that environment is not just influence, it's instruction. And the instructions you absorb daily shape the direction you move toward. Whether you're aware of it or not, identity is not found in a resume, a paycheck, or a neighborhood. Identity is found in the mindset that guides your actions when no one's watching. The poor mindset asks, "Who am I to do this?" The rich mindset asks, "Who do I need to become to do this?" That question changes everything. It creates movement. It activates purpose. It forces a shift from limitation to transformation, from survival to strategy, from excuse to execution, from comfort to calling. The poor mind sees time as something to kill. It waits for the weekend, looks forward to holidays, and dreads Mondays. It counts down the minutes in a workday as if freedom only exists outside of responsibility. Every spare moment is consumed with distraction, scrolling, binging, escaping. Time is treated casually, as if there's always more of it, as if urgency is only for emergencies and deadlines. But this casualness becomes a silent thief, quietly stealing years in the name of relaxation. When time isn't valued, life becomes reactionary. Days blur into weeks, and weeks into years, and nothing meaningful gets built because nothing consistent gets done. The poor mindset believes productivity is just about doing more, not about doing what matters most. So it fills time with busy work, distractions, and reactive choices, never realizing that success doesn't come from being busy, it comes from being intentional. The rich mind that sees time as the most valuable, non-renewable asset. It doesn't just count the hours. It calculates the return on each one. It understands that every moment spent has a cost, and that the way you spend your time is the way you spend your life. That's why rich-minded individuals plan their days with purpose. They don't wait for time. They allocate it. They don't let distractions dictate their focus. They design their schedule around priorities. When someone with a rich mindset wakes up, they already know what needs to get done because they've decided in advance what moves the needle. Their time is invested in building, learning, executing, and reflecting. Every block of time is aligned with a goal, and every goal is aligned with a larger vision. It's not about being busy. It's about being directed. Someone with a poor mind will often say, "I don't have time." But someone with a rich mindset knows that's never the real issue. The issue isn't time, it's priority. Everyone has the same 24 hours, but not everyone uses them the same way. A poor-minded person might spend hours watching someone else's life online while complaining they don't have time to build their own. They might spend weekends avoiding hard conversations or uncomfortable growth while wishing for a better future. But wishes don't build wealth, work does, and not just any work, but the kind of work that compounds, the kind that builds momentum over time. The rich mindset understands this and therefore eliminates what doesn't contribute to the vision. They say no to what most people say yes to. They guard their mornings. They protect their focus. They avoid time. Wasters not because they're antisocial or rigid, but because they understand the power of compound time. 1 hour of focused work, done daily, becomes a legacy over a decade. 1 hour of learning, done consistently, can rewire a life. The rich mindset looks at every hour as a brick and builds a future one intentional decision at a time. The poor mindset, on the other hand, lets the wind decide where their time goes. There's no planning, just reacting. No rhythm, just chaos. No ownership, just blame. But without owning your time, you can't own your outcomes. And without owning your outcomes, you remain a passenger in your own story. The people who rise aren't the ones who simply hustle non-stop. They're the ones who master their time, because the way you use your time is the most honest reflection of what you value. If you say you want to grow but spend hours escaping into entertainment, your actions are louder than your intentions. The rich mindset closes that gap. It aligns action with ambition. It sees time not as a clock to obey, but as a currency to invest. It's not about squeezing productivity out of every second. It's about assigning purpose to every block of your day. That purpose becomes the structure for results. And results are never an accident. They are always the compound effect of how you treat your time. The poor mindset approaches challenges with hesitation and fear. When obstacles arise, the first reaction is often to avoid, to doubt, or to complain. These individuals see problems as barriers that block their path rather than as opportunities to learn and grow. They get stuck in what-ifs and worst-case scenarios, allowing fear to freeze their progress. When they encounter failure, they tend to internalize it as a reflection of their identity, believing that setbacks mean they are not good enough or that success is simply out of reach. This mindset breeds a cycle of avoidance and excuses, where every problem becomes a reason to give up rather than a reason to push forward. The poor mindset often looks outward for blame, circumstances, other people, or luck, and seldom looks inward for solutions or adjustments. In contrast, the rich mindset embraces challenges with curiosity and resilience. People with this perspective understand that life will always present obstacles. The difference is how they respond to them. Instead of fearing failure, they see it as a necessary part of growth, a stepping stone to mastery rather than a stumbling block to despair. When faced with difficulties, they lean into the discomfort and ask, "What can I learn from this? How can I improve? What's the next step?" They approach problems as puzzles to solve, not as threats to avoid. This mindset fosters a deep sense of personal responsibility because they know that their response to challenges determines the outcome more than the challenges themselves. Failure is redefined as feedback, valuable information that guides them closer to their goals. The poor mindset often perceives risk as something to be avoided at all costs. They prefer the comfort of the familiar, even if it's limiting or unfulfilling, because the unknown feels too dangerous. This leads to stagnation and missed opportunities. Meanwhile, the rich mindset calculates risk carefully but doesn't let fear prevent action. They understand that risk is part of progress, and without it, growth is impossible. They take calculated chances, prepare as much as possible, and accept that some things are outside their control. This willingness to take risks, combined with a mindset that values learning over comfort, creates momentum and opens doors to new possibilities. Another key difference is in how each mindset views persistence. The poor mindset gives up too soon, often after the first or second failure, interpreting setbacks as signs to quit. The rich mindset keeps going, fueled by vision and purpose. They develop mental toughness and discipline that allow them to persist even when the path gets hard or unclear. They know that success is rarely immediate, and that perseverance often separates those who achieve from those who merely wish. This long-term focus helps them maintain motivation through ups and downs, and they celebrate small wins along the way as evidence of progress. The people with a rich mindset also surround themselves with other resilient individuals who support growth and positivity. They seek mentorship, constructive feedback, and communities that encourage taking action and learning from mistakes. The poor mindset tends to isolate, dwell on problems, and gravitate toward negativity, which only reinforces fear and avoidance. Environment matters because it shapes thought patterns and behaviors, and the rich mindset actively chooses influences that build confidence and courage at the heart of it. How we handle challenges reveals the true nature of our mindset. The poor mindset hides behind excuses and sees obstacles as permanent roadblocks. The rich mindset faces them head on, viewing challenges as temporary and conquerable with the right attitude and effort. This outlook transforms setbacks into setups for greater success and turns fear into fuel for forward motion. It's not just about what happens to you, but how you respond that determines whether you rise or fall. The mindset that embraces challenge will always outlast the mindset that fears it. Let me leave you with this. Wealth is not a bank account. It's a way of thinking. If you want to live rich, you must think rich. And thinking rich doesn't cost $1, it costs a decision. You don't need more time, more talent, or more luck. You need to adopt the mindset of someone who believes, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that they were born for more. So today, I challenge you, reject the poor mindset, embrace the rich one, because the moment you change your mindset is the moment you change your life. Thank you.